You ever wake up in the dead of night, heart pounding like a jackhammer, replaying that one moment when everything could have gone to hell and somehow didn't? Yeah, that's me, Riley Hayes, 23 years old, barely 3 months out of sniper school, hunkered down in this rickety old mission tower overlooking the Rio Verde Basin down in Colombia, the kind of place where the jungle humidity sticks to your skin like regret, and every rustle in the vines could be your last breath. I'd volunteered for this recon gig thinking it'd be observe and report. You know, play the quiet ghost in the machine, but watching Captain Ethan Iron Kane and his 18-man Marine team snake through that emerald hell toward Victor Ruiz's fortified trafficking den, my gut twisted like I'd swallowed barbed wire, because deep down, I knew this wasn't some low-rent drug op. Ruiz, that slick bastard with his ex-Special Forces goons, had turned the whole basin into his personal kingdom, squeezing locals dry on land rights and smuggling routes, all while whispering sweet nothings about protecting the community to the villagers he'd terrorized into silence. Iron's voice crackled over the radio that morning, gravelly and steady as ever. Guy's got 16 years under his belt, from Fallujah dust to Syrian shadows. Eyes sharp, fresh. We're pushing phase 2. Ruiz's compound's got walls like a fortress. Razor wire grinning like a shark. Fresh, that's what they called me. Riley Fresh Hayes. The rookie who aced quals but never squeezed a trigger with real stakes. My hands still shaky from the ghosts of training dummies. Down below, the team moved like shadows. Jax, Ghost, Harlan, Iron's right hand. All wiry intensity, and that quiet hunter stare from too many ops gone sideways. Nate Kid Ellis, the 19-year-old baby of the bunch. Rear guard with that wide-eyed grit masking the homesick farm boy from Iowa who'd joined up to escape his old man's shadow. Then there's Doclina Torres, our medic with her no-bullshit edge honed from patching up brothers in forgotten alleys. And Boom Ramirez, the demo wizard whose laugh could cut tension like a grenade pin. But today his eyes were locked on those convoy tracks snaking in from the northeast, whispering, "Iron, that's not rotation, that's Ruiz smelling blood." Me? I was up here in the tower, that ancient stone biting into my elbows, scope fogging from my own damn nerves, scanning Ruiz's sprawled 20 acres of concrete bunkers and guard towers manned by mercs who'd traded flags for fat paychecks. All funneling coke and worse through veins Ruiz had carved into the basin's heart, displacing families who'd farmed those slopes for generations over some bullshit grudge from his youth, when a rival clan edged him out of his daddy's legacy. Father Elias, this old priest who'd wandered up from the village below, wiry as a vine, eyes like weathered leather from burying too many kids caught in the crossfire, he plops down beside me, crosses himself against the dust, and says in that thick accent laced with quiet fire, "Senorita, you carry the weight of angels and demons in that rifle, but remember, the mountain remembers the innocent more than the victors." I laughed, a nervous bark that echoed wrong in the empty nave. Told him to hunker down cause things were about to get biblical, but his words stuck like humidity, gnawing at that voice in my head screaming, "Who the hell are you to play God from 2 clicks out?" And just then, Ruiz's voice, I didn't hear it direct, but Moreno, our comms, was with his ear for encrypted whispers, patches through the chatter. "Patron, we've got gringos sniffing Southeast X-Delta vibes, but sloppy. Roll protocol Viper. Flush 'em like rats." Viper Ruiz's pet nightmare for us Yanks, 70 hard cases with AKs and RPGs, all primed by his personal vendetta, that deep-seated hate for anyone threatening his grip on the basin's water rights, the lifeblood he'd poisoned to keep the locals bent. The ambush hit like thunder in a bottle 1 second. Iron's team is ghosting through the underbrush. Next, muzzle flares bloom like hellfire poppies, pinning them in a boulder-choked killbox Ruiz's goons had prepped with surgical spite, channeling every escape into overlapping fields of hate. Contact. Multiple vectors 70+, crew served heavies. Iron bellows, voice cracking just enough to humanize the legend, while Kid Ellis takes shrapnel to the thigh, crumpling with a yelp that twists my gut. Kid's out there fighting ghosts of his own. That farm boy dream of proving he wasn't his old man's disappointment, now bleeding out for a scrap of intel on Ruiz's human cargo runs. Doc Torres drags him to cover, her hand steady but her mutter fierce. "Hang on. Nate, you ain't checking out on my watch." Not when that rookie's got our six. And through the scope, I see it all. The chaos uncoiling like a bad fever dream. Ruiz is lieutenant. Marco Voss, this scar-faced prick with a Berliner accent from his Wagner group days, barking into his radio. Push the flanks. Make the Yankees dance. The Patron wants their heads on pikes for daring his rivers. My breath hitches, finger hovering on that cold trigger. The weight of the M40A7 suddenly heavier than my doubts. Because one pull, and it's not paper anymore, it's a life. A father maybe, twisted by Ruiz's empire of grudge and greed. But hell, you don't get through sniper school without staring down your own abyss. So I breathe in through the nose, out like smoke from a dying fire line, up that first machine gun nest, chewing through Ghost's flank. 1,920 meters of humid hell, wind whispering lies about drift. And squeeze. Crack, the report echoes like judgment. And through the glass, I watch the gunner crumple, his nest going silent, Iron's voice exploding in my ear. Holy shit. Fresh, that's a kill. Keep M coming, we're shifting east. It's like flipping a switch in my chest, that rush fear twisting into fire, and I cycle the bolt. Brass tinkling like guilty secrets. Picking off a spotter next. 2,340 out. His radio squawking mid-yell about the ghost in the tower, before he eats dirt. Ruiz feels it up in his command bunker, that snake pit of maps and monitors. I can picture him, pacing with that oiled mustache twitching, snarling to Voss over the line. Find that bitch's perch. I built this empire on these hills, my blood soaked, and no fresh-faced puta from Uncle Sam steals it with parlor tricks. His voice all venom and velvet, laced with that old wound, the land grab that orphaned him young, fueling a lifetime of squeezing back twice as hard. Word spreads like jungle rot. Sofia Reyes, this fierce local guerrilla with 4 years dodging Ruiz's sweeps over her clan's stolen orchards, slips up the ridge like she owns the shadows, drops beside me with binoculars and a grin sharp as her machete. Americana, you're stirring the hornet's nest good, but Ruiz has AA nests on the Black Ridges, triple coverage to choke your birds. My people lost 3 villages to his protection. Racket. Families scattered like ash 'cause they wouldn't bow. We huddle, her maps sketched in blood and memory, and I feel that pull again. Deeper now, not just saving my team, but tipping scales for folks like her, caught in Ruiz's web of legacy that masks plain old power lust. Counter snipers close in, Voss's hunters with thermals and that cold Teutonic precision. One of this ghost from Chechnya, Luka Drakov, hissing over hacked freks. Little bird, we've got your nest, 5 minutes, and your feathers in the wind fly or fry. Chills, yeah, but Sophia's laugh cuts it. They talk big, these wolves. Follow me to the Whisper Caves, where the mountain eats echoes, and we're off. Me humping 70 pounds of steel through vine-choked veins, heart slamming like it wants out. Every step a prayer that Iron's holding. Fresh, we're down to mags and miracles, kids fading. Doc's fighting a losing draw on his vitals. In those caves, it's a whole other beast, close quarters frenzy. Drakov's pack breaching with flashes and frags, Voss crowing from afar. The Patron sends regards, your rivers run red now. But Sophia and I turn the stone against him. Ricochets singing like vengeful ghosts. My shots barking short and savage, dropping a breacher at 40 yards, then rigging a ceiling pinch with a well-placed round that buries 3 in rubble, their screams muffled like bad dreams. Iron's fighting tooth and nail below, Booms charges blooming orange to clear LZ. Ghost whispering flanks clear as kid wheezes. Document tell ma I didn't fold. That fresh. She's the real Iron. His voice fading to that farm boy rasp, the kind that haunts you. All that unspent promise bleeding out over a grudge older than the hills. Father Elias materializes like a miracle. Packs from the villagers' ammo, meds, whispers of 400 souls banking on this dust-up to break Ruiz's chokehold, and in his eyes, I see it. Not just duty, but the raw ache of choosing, because pulling back would have saved my skin, but damned the base into another generation under Ruiz's boot. We surged, Sophia and me, a blur of lead and instinct, my 19th dropping Voss mid-taunt over the line. You think you own this dirt? I am this dirt, his body slumping like a puppet cut loose, that maw of a grudge finally silenced. Ruiz bolts, his empire fracturing like dry clay. Iron's voice rising triumphant. All clear fresh. You legend. We owe you the horizon. The bird touches down amid the smoke, rotors thumping like a heartbeat reborn. Doc and the flight medic hauling Kid aboard as he musters one last grin. Riley, you made a believer out of this kid, and lifts off into the bruised sky, leaving the basin scarred but breathing. 3 months later, back at Pendleton, Iron pins the silver star on my chest. Hayes, you didn't just shoot straight. You shot true, turning rookies' rust into unbreakable steel, but standing there, parade gloss chafing my scars, I can't shake the quiet thunder. Was it justice, cracking Ruiz's crown for the basin's ghosts, or just another Yank flex in someone else's forever war? And hey, that's the rub that keeps me up some nights in places like Rio Verde, where a man's grudge poisons rivers and orphans' dreams. Do we outsiders ever really tip the scales, or just etch deeper lines in the sand? Drop a comment below. Folks, what's your take on meddling in messes that ain't ours? Ever stood at that crossroads? Duty versus the devil you don't know? Hit like if this hit home. Subscribe for more raw slices from the edge. Tomorrow's got a twist that'll make this look like a warm-up, and share your stories. Let's unpack what winning really costs when the jungle whispers back.